Morena Fano, and welcome to Gardening on the Kaipara. My name's Howard. Thanks for joining me today. We are in November, last month of spring. All the potential of the summer days. Not today though. So what do we got on the agenda for this month? Well, I was kind of hoping that we've got most of the beds here in the veggie garden sorted and I could focus more on the fruit trees. I've got some more that I need to get planted. Needs to get some spraying on them because we've got peach leaf curl, and wanted to just move some of the things around. So that's my main focus, I think, for the month. However, I noticed the other day when I was watering that the garlic has got some scapes coming on it, and so has some of the leeks. So they all need to be harvested pretty quickly. I'll put the leeks into the freezer and I'll put the garlic into the polytunnel to dry. So yeah, those things have come up unexpectedly. And then trying to do a bit of succession sowing, one of those things that I'm not really that great at, but I wanted to just try and keep on top of that if I can. There's not an awful lot I need to do in that sense. Some more lettuce, wanted to get some more cobra climbing beans in, wanted to do some crimson sweet melons because they didn't take the first lot, and some more basil, I think. But otherwise, I think that's all I need to get underway. Oh, and I need to plant out some seed potatoes. So, can't sit here all day. Better get on with it. Why don't you come and join me? Okay, so time to lift the garlic. Let's see how we're doing here. And if you can see that, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's put that there. Yes, they're pretty good. I'm not expecting them all to be that size, but it's pretty good. Yeah, so like none of them are going to break any records for sure, but given that we don't actually eat an awful lot of garlic here, this is a good looking one here. Look at this. That is a good one. I think in anyone's language, that's a good one. I reckon I'm good for garlic for the year. I really do. So one final look at the garlic haul, and I'm feeling pretty pleased with that. I reckon that's definitely enough garlic to see me through the year. Okay, now I don't know if you remember, but when I did the last plot tour, I mentioned that I'd planted some pumpkin seeds here. A few had germinated, but it was there and in the middle. But because the cat had been in cat angels, you can probably still see some evidence of some in there from recent activity. The others hadn't come up, or so I thought. But actually, what had happened was she decided that it was done in the wrong place, and she's now planted them here. So two of them have germinated there, so I'm going to have to move them. You just never know with a cat what you're going to get. Okay, so we're in the middle of November now, and I just wanted to show you the roses because I'm not sure whether they'll still look like this when we get to the plot tour at the end of the month. Because at the moment they are amazing, just amazing. In fact, they're so laden with flowers that they're leaning over a little bit, but you can see just covered in flowers. They're amazing, amazing. I really like how they look with the lavender underneath. Okay, so most of the work's been done in the veggie garden in terms of the big stuff, getting the beds done and that. This month I wanted to take a break from here a little bit and focus on the orchard, which has been a bit neglected. I've got a load of fruit trees that need to get planted in, and then on top of that I want to just shift some bushes out, feijoas and lemons. I want to get them out and replace them with the fruit trees. So come on. That's still all right. Okay, so that's all of them. And what I'll need to do is just go through and see which ones are good, which ones are completely no good, and which ones are in between that I might be able to do something with. Okay, so we are onto the plot tour. Sadly, it's a voiceover because of the wind and some technical issues. We're looking up the plot here just so you can get a bit of a sense of where everything is. And as we move up towards the shed, we'll take a quick look at the potatoes, which we've got growing in pots. I've now got quite a lot of pots going. I've started the potatoes at different times, so hopefully we get a bit of a succession. You can see here just on the right some feijoas and lemon trees that I dug up from the orchard, just got them stored here for the time being. I've got one pot set aside already for Christmas there, and a couple of others that are also well developed, so if the Christmas pot doesn't have that many in, we might have to dive into one of the other ones as well. And turning around and coming to the tomatoes, there's the tomato beds here, and you can see that I've mulched them. I've also thinned them a bit. And the one on the right here, looking quite yellow, this was a hillbilly, and all of the hillbilly ones seem to have been affected like this a bit after we had a cold snap. Keeping a close eye and taking quite a few of them out just to be on the safe side. I'm a bit paranoid that it might be early blight. And I don't really want all of my tomatoes to be decimated when I've got so many in. That would be really heartbreaking, I think. Others though are doing well. We've already had some crops off them, which is really cool. The ones here, look at this one. This is so beautiful. This one here, such beautiful markings. I think this is a copia or copia. Beautiful looking, beautiful looking. And then these smaller ones are Sweet 100. Yeah, really don't like the look of that yellow one. Might take that one out. So over to the strawberry beds, and the strawberry beds have been giving such wonderful strawberries for us. We've been getting a bowl of strawberries pretty much every other day, and the last couple of days, just every day. Not so much as to be able to make jam, but certainly a good bowlful for Lynn and I to have each evening, which is just lovely. Can see there the asparagus bed really developing nicely. I've got some self-seeded zinnias in there and some cosmos just to give it a bit of colour. Next year that asparagus should be ready to be picking. I've lost one, I think, this year of the 9 heads. It got knocked off when I was weeding and hasn't sent anything back since then. So that's a bit sad, but the rest of it's going really, really well. So I guess that should be good news. Another tomato bed. These are some more of the hillbillies at the end. You can see I've had to thin them quite a lot because of that yellowing foliage. On the end here, we've got black strawberry. Haven't had any from the garden, but I have got some black strawberry in the polytunnel, and that seems to be going well. And we've had quite a few tomatoes off that, which is a really nice kind of black small cherry, which is really, really nice. This is the beans. These are cobra beans, cobra climbing French beans. These were recommended by Jesse on plot 37, and giving them a go. They're already doing so much better than the runner beans that I did last year, and should be able to probably get the first crop of these at the weekend, I think, ready for a roasty dinner or to put in the freezer because we're having a lot of salads at the moment. And then behind, the pumpkin patch. Now this is the same bed that you saw just a couple of weeks ago earlier in this video where the cat had been replanting the seeds, and look at it now. It's just gone crazy in 2.5 weeks. Just amazing. And you can see we've already got some big sized pumpkins already showing. Amazing, just amazing. It just seems to double overnight. I'm fertilizing these by hand when I can, and I think that's really helping. Only problem is it seems to put out all male flowers or all female flowers, and very rarely do they kind of mix. So it's a bit grievous when I see female flowers dropping off, and I'm like, oh, missed opportunity. More tomatoes here. What we've got here is Scotland yellow and yellow pear cherry, and also some black crim, which were probably my favourite from last year. My brother, when he was over here, we were having a lot of black crim as tomato sandwiches at lunchtime, and they were just brilliant, just brilliant. So yeah, these are doing really well. Really pleased with the growth on these. Um, Turning around, this was the onion bed, so this got cleared out the week before, and the onions are currently in the polytunnel, just drying off, and going to probably just put some quick growing lettuces in both that bed and this bed, which was the garlic bed. You can see a couple of cucumbers that I popped in, but they weren't looking really great, so I've actually taken them out since filming this and popped a couple of new ones in from the polytunnel. Moving on, this bed, this is the first row of the Roma tomatoes. Got 2 rows going. I'm kind of hoping to be able to do some passata sauce out of these or something, but we'll see. And some parsley, and then some cabbage for the chickens, which have been pretty mullered actually. Been like a little black beetle flying around, which I think is doing quite a bit of damage. Notice it on the fruit trees as well. Peppermint chard there. Got some more silver chard in the polytunnel, which I'm going to put out. Again, the chickens really like that, but also we like it in a chicken and leek pie. The melon bed, well, getting along slowly, I would say. It's beginning to put out some flowers now, mostly male flowers. Again, I'm trying to pollinate them by hand, but yeah, it seems to be a lot more tricky than doing the pumpkins, that's for sure. I'm really hoping to get more than we had last year. Last year's melons were great, never grown them before, so I was pleased to get anything, but kind of hoping to get a few more this year. I did plant some sweet crimson seeds, but I did it twice as well and did got no success with either of them. Aubergines seem to be doing very little at the moment. I've got two in this bed, and then I've got two courgettes. The courgettes are doing fantastic. We've had so many courgettes off these already. It's been brilliant. Um, Last year they were going quite well, and then they just collapsed over a couple of days, and no idea what happened to them. So I'm a bit nervous, but at the moment they're doing great. And this bed, final bed here, is the lettuce and the beetroot. Beetroot ready for Christmas. Just hoping that doesn't go to seed in the meantime. And the lettuces, I've got some successional sowing of lettuces going on in the polytunnel, but generally needing to increase. Moving in a bit closer now. These are salvias, and with some love lies bleeding behind. And this is a David Austin rose. Can't remember which one this is off the top of my head. I know the other one in this bed is called Princess Anne, but I can't remember what this one is off the top of my head. It hasn't started flowering yet, but it's got quite a few buds in. It's getting a little bit crowded by this dahlia, and so I'm going to thin that out a bit. We've been getting a lot of cut flowers out of this bed already. Gypsophilia has been brilliant. It just seems like the more I cut it, the more there is for it. Those two things there are asters with some straw flowers in front. Really excited to see how they come on. And this is the Princess Anne rose, which is really beautiful. The kind of deep pink purple, very striking. And the Snapdragon, these are large ones. Didn't realise they were going to be this big, but I really like them. And the Rudbeckia in the front, which I was hoping to be a bit more bushy than that, but I don't know. Maybe it will do that in time. And this is the cut bed around the back of the polytunnel with the same similar flowers in, but some flowers along the back, which have had a mixed success. The cat was doing her cat angels all through this bed, and so the germination has been patchy, and where it has germinated was definitely not where I planted them, but that's okay. This is the rhubarb. I think if you saw the last plot tour, you would know these were looking very sorry for themselves, but as you can see, really picked up now. I'm very hopeful that we're going to get some really good rhubarb off them. It's probably our favourite thing, I think, rhubarb. We've always loved rhubarb. Coming into the polytunnel, tomatoes haven't been doing so great in here. I think I'm struggling with the feeding somewhat. The aubergines similarly doing okay, not brilliant. And these are the pineapples, which are doing well. They really are picking up. I need to work out where I'm going to pop these in the veggie beds once I've got some space, I guess. Cucumbers weren't doing so good, but are picking up again now. Still got some seeds going. These are some more asters, and those are the silver beet. We tried to take some lavender cuttings. Some of them are taken. Most haven't, I don't think. Those are the cucumbers. I'm going to pop those out later. And the peppers, which are probably the best thing in the polytunnel at the minute. No fruit yet, but plenty of flowers. So really hopeful for them. They were a struggle to get going, but now that they are going, I'm really pleased with them. You can see the breeze even in the polytunnel there. And the onions just drying out. As you can see, they had quite a few scapes on by the end. I think I'm probably going to freeze most of those. This is the roses and the lavender. Again, 2 weeks ago you saw they were in full flower, and now just a few left. They'll continue flowering through the summer, but certainly not in the same way as that first almighty flush that they gave. It was just amazing, so beautiful. And these are the super petunias I showed you a couple of months ago. So just a single plant in each of these planters, and really taking off now. So they're full now, but what will happen over the next month or two is they'll cascade all the way down to the ground and down to the orchard, and have a look at what I've done here over the month. Chickens are always interested to see what treats they might be getting. So over to the right here, 2 pear trees have been put in here. So this was where the feijoas and the lemons were, but weren't really doing very much at all. So I popped a couple of pears in there, and they seem to be settling in quite well. And then moving up, the plum tree was looking good there. This is the apple, and the second apple next to it here took forever to come into leaf. Don't know why that was, but it's come in now. I'm just hoping it puts on some good growth. Feels like it's left it rather late. Anyway, coming up next is the fig tree, which does seem to have doubled. Looking at it here, it's funny, you kind of don't notice sometimes from day to day, but having looked at it there, that does feel like it's kind of doubled in size since the start of the spring. And then these are the 3 other trees that I've popped in. So the one nearest to us here, this is a nectarine. And then looking up, a peach tree, and at the end there you can see an almond. The almond is self-fertile. I think it's called All-in-One from memory. But they've all kind of settled in well with being planted. It's always a bit of a worry. This is my other peach tree, which is doing really well. I actually kind of want to move this one. It's a bit difficult to mow around this one, so I'm kind of quite keen to move it a little bit further down towards where the pear trees are, just so there's a bit more room. But at the same time, it's probably the tree that's doing the best in the entirety of all of the trees, so a little reluctant to knock it back a bit. And this is the nectarine. Both the peach and the nectarine have a bit of peach leaf curl, but I've started spraying them with apple cider vinegar, and that does seem to be helping. Take off all of the infected leaves and give it a spray every couple of weeks. It also seems to be helping this plum tree, the spraying. I think I mentioned there's a little black beetle that's flying around, which I think is doing some damage to the leaves. But since I've been spraying them, it does seem to have knocked that on the head a bit, so that's good. But otherwise, the tree's doing really well, putting on really good growth. No fruit though, obviously. The apricot tree, yeah, not flourishing, I think is the expression I would use for this at the moment. Just keeping a watching brief on it, really. And then back down to the pear trees. So 13 trees now in the orchard. So I think it's reasonable to call it an orchard. So there we go, Fano. That's November for you. Hope you enjoyed the vlog. Really appreciate you giving half an hour of your time to watch me do this silly stuff. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Next month will be the 12th vlog, a full year of doing the vlog, so we're going to do a little celebration. And of course it's going to be Christmas, so we're going to check on how we did in terms of growing the veg for Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and we'll have the tree up, and yeah, we just might do a little bit of a Q&A. There's been a couple of questions asked in the comments. If you've got anything you want to ask, whether it's about what we do here or how we built the house or what I do or don't know about gardening or anything of the kind, drop a question in the comments. You'll also find that there's an email address now in the information, and you can drop me any questions you like in that as well. So until next time, Harbour, take care, have a happy Christmas if I don't see you before, and I'll see you again in a month's time. Bye bye.